Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff, and I'm the Camp Cook. Today I'm going to start a series on how to make food from staples that you get from your local food pantry, food bank, whatever you want to call it. All the items I got in here, these are my personal items that I've received from the food bank. They've come from the Salvation Army. So first off, I want to say thank you to the Salvation Army for all that they do. Something a lot of people don't know about the Salvation Army is that little red bucket that they have out every Christmas, 100% of that money goes towards helping people. It's not sucked up by upper-end bureaucrats. 100% of the money goes to helping people. I'd also like to thank the Salem Lutheran Church over in Sycamore, Illinois. They do a great job too, and they've supplied plenty of food for me. I live on disability, veterans disability, and it's a meager disability, and it's kind of hard to live on. So there's a lot of things I've received here. First off, I'm going to say about this horrible milk. Everybody thinks it's so horrible. Oh, you can do this, you can do that to make it taste better. You can't do anything to it to make it taste better. It is what it is. So, what do you do with it? You use it for cooking. So, some things you can do with it. You can make hot chocolate. You mix up cocoa powder, milk powder, sugar, and a little bit of salt. Mix it all together thoroughly, and it makes a dry powdered mix for making hot chocolate instead of the little bags that can be very costly. Use it for that. Use it for making. I use it for making biscuits and gravy. I start out with the water and I mix it in there, and I use this because you're not going to taste that horrible taste once you get your seasonings in for your sausage and everything, and your butter in the pan. It tastes fantastic. Mashed potatoes. My wife doesn't like them. I love them. There's nothing wrong with these instant mashed potatoes that you get. I'm not sure if the USDA puts them out or not, but they supply them to the food bank. We have peaches. There's a lot of things you can do with the peaches. You make peach cobbler, peach betty, peach pie, or just eat them out of the can. But there's a lot of ways you can do it. Soups. You can make casseroles. You can have them as plain soup, or you can use them in casseroles and other things. The refried beans don't taste the best out of the can, but hey, it's food. It is a staple. I'll teach you how to season that to make it taste much, much better. Then we have tomatoes, tomato sauce. They push a lot of that onto us. We all know it doesn't taste good out of the can. But if you put the right seasonings in it, you will have to buy seasonings. You can't get everything at the food pantries. You will have to put out some money, and you will have to buy some seasonings. You don't have to buy the top brands. You can go to the Dollar Tree or wherever, Walmart, wherever, and buy their $1 spices. They're overruns from the bigger companies is what they are. You will have to throw them out after about a year because they do lose their strength. They don't smell as good, don't taste as good. You do have to replace them just like the big brand stores, but they are good spices. So you're going to have to stock up on those things. There's some things you're going to have to buy to make a meal. Kidney beans. I love these. I like mixing them in with ground beef. Ground beef and a can of the stewed tomatoes and some onions. And I make a chili. Not real chili, but a type of chili. And I love eating it. It's delicious. Tuna. A lot of the tuna, this is the good stuff here. A lot of the tuna is like mushed cat food if you look inside of it. Tuna's not what it used to be when I was growing up. Things have changed, and they're slipping by anything they possibly can. But you get all kinds of tuna from the food bank. You have to strain it out, put it in a strainer. So buy a strainer. It's one of the items you're going to have to buy from the dollar store is buy a strainer, a mesh strainer to put your tuna in, and other items too. You want to strain out. You don't want to use any of the juices. The peach juice isn't that bad, but the juices from anything else really isn't that good. I guess from the diced tomatoes. It's okay, but you want to dump this juice off. You just want to dump it off. Same thing with on the salmon, and really anything in canned goods, corn, beans, canned beans that have a liquid in. You want to dump all that stuff off. We have the pork here. This stuff really looks bad coming out of the can. You can turn that into some delicious barbecue. There's all kinds of things you can do with this pork. You can actually cook it and turn it into, I guess you can't call it bacon bits, but it'll be just like bacon bits. Add a little salt, boil everything off, cook it down in the fat, and strain it off. And it'll be just like bacon bits to put on your salad or whatever else you're going to use. The beef, you can take this, And you can make stews out of it, you can make barbecue out of it, casseroles, all kinds of things out of that beef. It's absolutely delicious. So it looks a little grody coming out of the can, but it is edible. It will keep you alive, it will sustain you, and it'll put some meat on your bones. We have here dates. What do I do with dates? Many things you can do with the dates. You can stuff pork with them. You can make paste to put in pastries and things like that. Along with the raisins. You can take the raisins here and you can make put those in a lot of different foods. Pork roll. Apples and raisins go great in a pork roll. You take a pork loin, you cut it open, about a ½ inch thick, roll it out, put this in there, roll it back up with your seasonings in it and everything. It tastes fantastic with apples and raisins. There's a lot of things you can use these raisins for. People think they're just for snacking on. No, you can make a lot of them. I combine it with the dates. I'm a retired pastry chef. I combine it with the dates with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey, grind it all up in a food processor, and I add a little bit of allspice into it. I myself don't like cinnamon, and some people are allergic to cinnamon, so I leave the cinnamon out. But I make a fantastic pastry filling for making my Danish and things like that. Beans. These have a lot of fiber in them, a lot of protein. A lot of vegans eat the beans because it somewhat replaces the protein. Doesn't replace the protein 100% from meat, but it somewhat does. Get as many beans as you can. If it says take what you can use, take about 6 or 7 bags. Store this stuff up. Folks are running into a time where things are going to be harder to get. We don't know what's going on with the current situation with the plague and the weather and politics and everything like that. Cover your butt. Get as much of the stuff as you can. Don't tell anybody how much you have because you're going to be a target. We're not going to get into politics here. We're not going to get into prepping or anything else in my series or any of my stuff. We're going to stay away from it, but I just have to explain why I'm telling you to stock up on this stuff. Things are going to get hard. They're going to get very hard for us. We haven't seen the worst of it yet. In my 64 years of living, I've never seen it this bad. Never. And I've seen bad stuff. Lentils. Everybody says, ugh, lentils. I love this stuff. I just fixed some lentil beef soup the other day. Put lentils in it, celery, onions. I would put carrots in there, but my wife doesn't like carrots, so I left the carrots out. I took a steak that I got from the food pantry. I grilled the steak on my grill, seasoned it and everything. After I grilled it, I chopped it up, and I put it in the soup, and the soup tasted just like steak. It was delicious. I used beef broth, the boxed beef broth. We'll go into that recipe later on. I'll show you how to make all of that. Rice. Rice is a very good staple. This one bag here will feed us, the two of us, for about 2 weeks. 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, a little bit of salt. That's your basic rice. That it puffs up and it feeds a lot. It feeds a lot. So rice is getting hard to get with everything going on over in Asia and stuff with all the weather, the monsoons and all that. Their rice crops are failing. India is one of the top rice producers. They're having rice crop failures because of the weather. It's El Nino. It's that time of the year. That time of the cycle. So stock up on rice. Do everything you can to stock that up. Pancake mix. It's not just for making pancakes, folks. You can use it for a lot of things. Battering chicken, making corn dogs, making pizza, making muffins. There's a whole myriad of things you can use pancake mix for. Use it as a thickener. I always use this pancake mix when I'm making my biscuits and gravy with this milk. And I use turkey. I make my own sausage out of turkey that I get from the food bank. I don't have any here today, but I make my own sausage, and it makes an excellent biscuits. Excellent gravy. You can make the biscuits out of this, and to make the sausage gravy out of the other staples, the dry milk, the turkey. You can use pork sausage if you want. In one of my other videos, I'll share the recipe that I have that I use with pork and use with turkey as well. I have a heart condition. I'm not supposed to have pork, so I have it. believe me, I have it, but I steer away from it mostly and try and supplement it with the turkey. And I eat a lot of beef, a lot of lamb. I eat a ton of lamb. Ask for lamb. They don't always put it out because a lot of people don't like lamb. It's delicious if you know how to prepare it properly. Ask the food pantry if they have any lamb in storage any place, or if they can get you some the next trip around. So, Jiffy corn muffin mix. You see this a lot of times at the food pantries as well. Oh, it's for corn muffins. No, it's for a lot of things. We take it in our household, combined with, I got it here, the corn, the whole kernel corn here. We grind up the whole kernel corn, add some eggs and some sugar and cinnamon. Like I say, I don't like cinnamon that much, but it does taste good in this. And a few other ingredients, melted butter. And we add this Jiffy corn muffin mix into the batch as well. We pour it out onto a pan, we layer it with cheese and pour more of the batter over the top of that, and we bake it. It's something my wife loves dearly, my whole family loves it, something called huminta. We do our catch on it. It's wrapped up in corn husks in Bolivia, but we just put it in the pan and brown it and cut it up in squares. Absolutely delicious and addictive. It's great. The Jiffy corn muffin mix can be used in a lot of different things. You combine it with the pancake mix, a little bit of salt and other stuff, because the pancake mix can be kind of sweet. But you can make a batter for making corn dogs, or what I like to do corn brats. Instead of using hot dogs, I cook bratwurst and make it like a corn dog. I add a little extra spices and stuff in the batter, which I'll go over in one of my other videos. But I add that to the mix, and you want to have a little bit of crunch in it, along with, this is the best. If you don't have this, use this or use this. This is actually the best for making a corn dog. It's cornmeal. People forgot how to use cornmeal. I use it for everything. When I bake, I throw it on my pan as a bearing so the bread doesn't stick to the pan. I can make cornbread out of it. I can make polenta. Some people say, oh, polenta, because they've only had polenta where it's been boiled and refried. You add spices to it. There's bunches of different ways you can make polenta. And then you have your meat sauce down here, spaghetti sauce. Now, this stuff makes nasty. You have to add herbs to it. But everything has to have herbs and spices to add it to it to make it taste better. It's right out of the can. It's not going to taste good. But polenta with pasta sauce on it, absolutely to die for. It's good. It just has to be made the proper way with proper seasonings in it. If it's not seasoned properly, it tastes blasé. But you can use chicken stock, you can use beef stock. Some people use pork stock in the South to make it taste a little more like a bacon, bacon flavor to it. It's a good staple. It will keep you going. A lot of good things. The salmon. Make salmon patties out of it. People forgot how to make salmon patties. You can make salmon noodle casserole, same as tuna noodle casserole, but with salmon. A lot of different dishes you can make with salmon. I'm not a fish eater, but I will eat salmon. The little sausages. You can make a lot of beans and weenies with those. There's a lot of things you can do with those little sausages, cutting them up. They're a little salty. I don't really call them a staple. I don't think they're all that healthy, but they do give you, a little bit of a taste on your comfort needs when you're fixing those comfort foods. I don't have any bag of red beans up here, or I neglected to bring them up. The red beans and the pinto beans, but you can make your own. The beans you're making, Boston baked beans, navy bean soup, all kinds of things with beans. Refried beans, you can make your own rather than using the ones in the can. You soak them. And there's many ways to soak them, but you have to remember, don't put salt in until the very, very end, because the salt will take it and make it toughen up, and it'll taste like it's raw. It won't even be soft. So those are just a few of the things that I have here. As I go on, I'll add more things as I get them. Try and get as much meat as you can. Don't get too much meat where you're not going to use it, because some people hoard the stuff. It's free, and they just load their carts over. And you're going, that's one person and they have no family, or just two people and they have the giant carts filled full of food, and they're not going to use them and throw most of it away. But meat does not keep in the freezer like people think it does. After about 3 months, it starts to get freezer burned, and if you don't use it, it tastes really nasty. It toughens up because the freezer's pulling all the moisture out of it. And there's really no way that you can really keep it beyond 3 or 4 months without something starting to happen. I'm not going to teach canning because I know how to can. I can a lot. But there's so many canning videos out there, and it's so dangerous if you do something wrong. It's safe, really safe, but again, it's dangerous if you do something wrong. And I don't want to be held liable for anybody getting sick. So I'm going to leave those videos up to other people. I'm just here to teach you how to cook. I have 40 years professional experience. I got out of the Marine Corps back in '77 and went into culinary right after that. Couldn't really find anything to do because of the problems I had with the Marine Corps. Culinary is about the only thing I really got into, but it's been my staple for 40 years. I've raised my family, on culinary. There's a lot of different ways to do things. I have some friends out there who are professional chefs and teachers, and I know they're going to criticize me, but hey, everybody does everything different. I'm primarily a pastry chef. I'm not the best. I won't say that I'm the best. I'm mediocre, but I know how to get things done. But what I know how to do, I will teach you. Going to be making mistakes. We all make mistakes. I learned from all my mistakes. But we're going to have fun here. With that, I just want to say thank you so much, and let's go cook.